Are you struggling with the TOEFL reading section? Do you feel like time runs out before you even finish the reading passage? Or maybe you just can't figure out why the correct answer is right and yours isn't. In today's video, we're going to break down a real TOEFL reading passage, step by step. You'll learn how to recognize different question types, apply the right strategies, and avoid the common traps that lower your score. And the best part? We'll go through it together, one question at a time, so you can build the skills you need to reach your target score. This passage is about Alfred Wegener and the theory of continental drift, which falls under the topic of geology. Let's dive in. Question 1. According to paragraph 1, the presence of non-volcanic islands was an indication to Wegener that. This is a factual information question. It asks us to find a fact that's clearly stated in the passage, not to guess, infer, or assume anything. You usually have 35 minutes to complete the reading section, which includes 2 passages with 10 questions each. So about 1 minute and 45 seconds per question. Naturally, some questions are easier, while others are more challenging. Some will take more time, some less. But when you are practicing, let's push ourselves a bit and aim to answer each question in just 1 minute and 30 seconds. If you feel like you need more time, feel free to pause the video and take as long as you need. Time starts now. Well, it's time to check your answers. Let's see if you used the right strategy. Did you find the keywords in the question? If yes, great job. If not, make sure to do that next time. Keywords are essential for locating the right part of the paragraph more quickly. The keywords in the question are non-volcanic islands. As I scan the text, I find this sentence. As the continent broke up, the pieces moving apart left bits behind, explaining the presence of non-volcanic islands and island chains, according to Wegener. In this case, I recommend reading one sentence before it to better understand the context. All the continents had been joined in the supercontinent of Pangaea. This means that all the continents were once part of one large landmass, which later broke into smaller pieces. That's why B is the correct answer. Easy, right? Let's move on. Question 2. Why are the Andes and Himalaya mountains mentioned in the discussion in paragraph 1? This is a rhetorical purpose question. These questions ask why the author includes a specific detail, example, or sentence in the passage. Try answering this question on your own first. The keywords here are clearly the Andes and Himalaya mountains. And I can easily spot them just one sentence after the one I've just read. I should also read the sentence in between to get more context. Where the moving pieces collided, mountains formed. They were thrust up either by the plowing of the continents through the Sima, as in the case of the Andes, or by colliding of two blocks of soil, as in the case of the Himalayas. This means that the Andes and the Himalayas were formed in different ways, which make answer B correct. Great job! On to the next question. Question 3. Which of the sentences below best expresses the essential information in the highlighted sentence in the passage? Incorrect choices change the meaning in important ways or leave out essential information. This is a sentence simplification question. It basically asks you to choose one sentence that is a simpler version of a more complicated sentence from the passage. Let's sink our teeth into it. Remember the strategy for this question type. First, read the sentence. Then break it down into 2 or 3 main ideas. Pay close attention to any linking words or conjunctions, and then formulate your own summary before looking at the answer choices. Let's give it a try. As for the force driving continental drift, Wegener initially invoked pole flicked craft, a force causing flight from the poles as a result of Earth's rotation, and later the tidal force resulting from the gravitational attraction between Earth and the Moon and Sun. Let's not worry too much about the complicated words and instead focus on understanding the main ideas. If you don't know what invoked means, you can still make a good guess from the context. We already know that the supercontinent broke apart into smaller pieces, and that this process led to the formation of mountains. The highlighted sentence explains why this happened. What force caused it? Let's break it down into the main ideas. Wegener first invoked one force called pole flicked craft and later referred to another force. I can guess that invoked is similar to suggested or believed. In other words, Wegener first thought one force caused the breakup and then later thought it was another. This makes answer C correct. As you can see, the reading section of the TOEFL is tricky because it requires a level of focus, vocabulary, and strategy that most students have never been properly taught. Some typical issues are students don't finish on time, they second-guess their answers, and even when they do know the strategies, they struggle to apply them under pressure. I've worked with hundreds of TOEFL students, and what's interesting is that when they take individual lessons with me, many of them end up asking about the reading section instead of the speaking or writing. That's because it's hard to find materials that truly help you prepare for this part of the test effectively. Our TOEFL course is designed to solve that. It gives you a clear system for tackling every question type, plus the academic vocabulary and time management skills you need to finish with confidence. At the end of the course, you'll receive a personal consultation with me to evaluate your speaking and writing. So you'll know exactly where you stand before test day. If you're ready to stop guessing and start improving with a real plan, click the link below and join our TOEFL community. Now, question 4. What does paragraph 2 suggest about how Holmes influenced Wegener's thinking? This is an inference question. Why? Because it asks you what the paragraph suggests, not what it says directly. You have to read between the lines to understand how Holmes influenced Wegener based on clues in the paragraph. Let's walk through this question together. First, what should you focus on while reading the paragraph? Holmes and the influence he had on Wegener. Also, as you read the paragraph, try to break it down into a few simple main ideas. In paragraph 2, we see that Holmes introduced a mechanism, convection in the mantle, to explain how continents could move. Then the passage says that Wegener adopted Holmes's mechanism in the last version of his theory. So, what does this suggest about Holmes's influence? Why did Wegener use Holmes's mechanism? He likely provided Wegener with a better explanation of how the continents moved and how mountains formed. That's exactly what answer D says. It's not just about inspiration. It's about Holmes providing a clearer mechanism that Wegener later accepted. So D is the best answer. Let's keep going. Question 5. What is the importance of Wegener's observation that the Appalachians, which can be traced northward through the Canadian maritime provinces, match the Caledonian Mountains in Scotland and Norway? First, the question is not a factual information question, as you might have thought. Although it looks like a factual information question, it's actually a rhetorical purpose question, and it should be solved like one. That means I have to decide why the author uses the phrase in bold in the paragraph. The phrase in bold contains many details, including different names. This suggests that it probably illustrates something. It's an example of a point mentioned earlier in the text. Let's look at the sentence before the highlighted phrase. We learn that Wegener showed not only that the coastlines on opposite sides of the Atlantic fit together, but that geologic features on the different continents fit as well. Then the text continues with one more detail that supports this finding. This means that answer A, it provides additional evidence for Wegener's claim that separate continents were once connected to each other is correct. As you can see, it's important to know the question types and the strategies to solve them. You should never rely too much on keywords to identify the question type. Sometimes the question might look like one type, but actually be another, and you'll waste time trying to solve it using the wrong strategy. But when you can recognize question types quickly and know how to approach each one, TOEFL reading becomes so much easier. Question 6. The word asserted in the passage is closest in meaning to. This is a vocabulary question. It asks you to choose the meaning of a word based on how it's used in the passage. Sometimes these questions are easy, and sometimes they're a bit tricky. Okay, let's break it down. The sentence says, he asserted that the Appalachians match the Caledonian Mountains. Now, did he question it? Doubt it? Repeat it? No, he was making a claim. So the best synonym here is A, claimed. Question 7. Mesosaurus is mentioned in paragraph 3 to make which of the following points? This is again a rhetorical purpose question. It asks why the author includes a specific example, detail, or reference. In this case, Mesosaurus. It's not just asking what the text says about Mesosaurus. That would be a factual information question. But rather, what role does this detail play in the paragraph? Give it a try. Let's think this through. Wegener uses Mesosaurus as an example, but why? Mesosaurus was a reptile, and its fossils were found on both sides of the Atlantic. Yet, it couldn't have swum across the ocean because it wasn't a strong swimmer. That supports the idea that the continents were once connected, that those land areas were likely part of the same continent. That's exactly what option D says. The lack of this species' swimming ability supports the idea that the shores where its fossils were found must have been joined at one time. Well done! Question 8. What was the dilemma that Wegener solved? This is another factual information question. Let's go! The key word in this question is dilemma. I can easily spot it in the last sentence of the paragraph. Wegener solved this dilemma by showing that. So, Wegener solved the dilemma. But what exactly was the dilemma? Let's look at the previous sentence to figure that out. Particularly puzzling was evidence suggesting that widely different climates in different regions had occurred at the same time. So one could not account for different climates by claiming simply that the whole of Earth was once hotter or once cooler than now. This sentence describes a strange situation: climate differences happening at the same time in different places. So the dilemma is this: how can totally different climates occur at the same time in different regions? That's exactly what answer C says. Question 9. The publication was met by skepticism from scientists the world over, yet he refused to become discouraged. This is an insert text question, one of the most challenging types of questions. You need to figure out where the new sentence fits best in the passage. Try answering this one on your own first. This question might seem difficult, but not if you know how to approach it. Here is the tip. With insert text questions, always look for clues in the sentence in bold. In this case, the sentence says, "The publication was met by skepticism." That means the sentence should come right after a mention of Wegener's book, when or how it was published. After all, how can you talk about skepticism toward a publication if the reader doesn't even know whether it was published yet? The third sentence of the paragraph says, "Wegener first presented his theory of continental drift at a meeting and in a paper, and then as a book, The Origin of Continents and Oceans, published in 1915. That's where the sentence about skepticism belongs, right after the publication is introduced. So the correct answer is C. Well done! Let's wrap things up with the summary question. You need to choose 3 main ideas that summarize the whole passage. Ready? Give it a try. Here is what you should do to answer this question without rereading the entire passage. 1. Choose the main ideas. 2. Eliminate any options that contain incorrect information or are too specific. Those are usually just minor details. 3. Choose the ones you remember clearly from earlier in the passage. The correct answers are A, D, and F. All of these options include key ideas we've already seen while answering the earlier questions. If you don't remember them clearly, you can always go back and quickly scan each paragraph for its main idea. It's easier than you think because you already know many parts of the passage well from working on questions 1 to 9. Here is a small tip. As you move through earlier questions, pause briefly when you finish each paragraph and ask yourself, what was the main idea of the paragraph? You can even write down a few quick notes as you go. This habit will save you time later when you reach the summary question. You've just completed half of the TOEFL reading section. Congratulations! On the real test, you'll get one more passage with the same types of questions, and that is it. We just tackled all 10 questions from this TOEFL reading passage. If you got 8 or more answers correct, you're already on your way to a great score. If you struggled with any question types, drop a comment and let me know which ones gave you trouble. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more TOEFL practice. If you'd like personalized feedback on your speaking and writing, check out the Pro package in the TOEFL course using the link below. And remember, it's not about learning everything. It's about learning the right things. And now you've got a head start. See you in the next video. Bye!